Been a lot of debate on who's the worst conference in the country, and I believe after week 2, the ACC has proven without a shadow of doubt that they're the worst conference in the country. I know a lot of people will talk about Florida and Miami's game last night, where Miami's defense played pretty well for most of the game, but their pass defense was terribly exposed the last 10 minutes, and their offense never got anything going pretty much the whole game. Now, I'll give them credit because they had 2 freshmen starting quarterbacks, but the reality is this offense will struggle throughout the year because they never were able to get any consistency last night. Hopefully their top running back getting hurt last night is a small injury. He'll be able to come back. But it was an offense that struggled and a defense that either got wore down or Florida figured out how to expose that pass defense. The game might have been a little bit closer than the 26-3 score, but ultimately it wasn't really that close. If you go down the conference, Virginia Tech underperformed for the second week after being upset, I guess you can call it upset, against East Carolina last week. Didn't play very well against Furman yesterday, only winning 24-7. If I go from top to bottom of this conference, there's not one team that has played well consistently over the first 2 weeks. I think at the end of the season what we're looking at is a conference that will probably have a 4 or 5 loss team that represents them in the BCS. And that's kind of sad as we look early in the season. We have 3 teams from non-BCS conferences that are playing pretty well in Utah, BYU, and East Carolina, but one of them be left out because a subpar ACC team is going to take the spot that's given to them from being from a major conference. If you look at Wake Forest, barely slipped by Ole Miss, which is probably 8th, 9th, 10th ranked team in the SEC, and Wake Forest is favored to win the ACC. This is a conference that has a lot of improving to do. Duke being beat by Northwestern, Clemson going by Citadel, but this is a week after they were beating the dirt pretty well by Alabama. A conference that has a lot of struggles, needs to get a lot better in a lot of ways, and if I were ranking right now, it would definitely be the worst conference in the country. Hopefully this gets better and we start to see some improvement, but if they can't dominate these out-of-conference games against, in a lot of cases, weaker teams, what will they do against bigger teams when it comes to bowl season? The ACC, the Big Ten is ranking right there, but at least the Big Ten's top teams this year, O State, Penn State, Wisconsin, have stepped up and been able to perform on a pretty good level. ACC, all of the teams have underperformed so far this year. Even the ones that are still undefeated have barely squeaked by in some of their wins. So if I'm giving my rankings today, the ACC, without a shadow of a doubt, is the worst conference in the country.